Hey, what's up, gang? Welcome to this week's show. We're having a 30-degree heat wave in England right now, so welcome to a special outdoor broadcast. And when we get into it properly, we'll be taking a look at my latest work in progress, which is this library building, which I talked about the other day. I saw this lovely building on the internet, which I've started to make a copy of. I've had to sacrifice an existing corner building, which was a little bit on the bland side, but it'll make way for this really nice library building in due course. Just before we get into it, gang, here's a very important word from Sir Michael Caine. You're only supposed to blow the blooming doors off. No, it was the other thing, Sir Michael. Oh yeah, what I meant to say was, don't forget to like and subscribe, because otherwise I'll get very emotional. My voice will go very deep. I get really emotional if people forget to like and subscribe. So I'm going to do a bit of an outside broadcast to show you the latest progress on the library building. So if you remember from last time, this is the library building that I saw on the internet. It was someone submitted it to the LEGO Ideas team. And it actually didn't get taken up in the end, but I thought it was a really nice building, and so I'm going to make a copy of it. So this is the first draft of the building, so to speak. So this is the upper story of the building with those rather nice little Roman columns there, classical columns. The most difficult bit with these sort of buildings obviously is the corner part, which is kind of at an angle, and the way I've done this is I've used one of these turntable pieces just underneath there to get it at the angle. Don't worry about the wrong coloured bricks, by the way. Obviously I need to get a shed load of bricks from Bricklink to finish the thing off properly. I've actually set the window one stud back compared with the original model, simply because there was no way to secure it in place. Really, it should have been sort of one step forward, and then it would have had a sort of L-shaped couple of plates just to join it up with these columns at the side. But I actually pushed it backwards by one stud. The main reason being so I could get these hinge plates to attach to each side of the building, because otherwise the whole section was kind of wobbling all over the place and it wasn't very secure. As you can see, I've kind of mocked up one of the bookcases. There are 3 bookcases altogether. This little greebly at the side, I'm not sure this adds anything to it, and it makes the structure quite insecure, so I might just replace that with a full length sort of 1x8 tile basically for that. The tiling on the floor I think looks quite neat. There's some dark red pieces there, which obviously I need to get some more of those from Bricklink, but otherwise I think the building's looking quite nice, and I think it was correct to set that window a little bit further back than in the original model, not least because the ones at the side are actually set back by one stud, so it kind of all lines up. If that one had been projecting proud of the building, it wouldn't have looked quite right compared with the ones at the side, so I think it was right to do that. So I'll now go back to Bricklink and get some pieces, and then hopefully next time we'll show you a lot more progress on the library, but I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I think we've got the correct size and proportions, and I know where everything goes pretty much now. I think one of the dangers of doing these things on a computer software is that it doesn't always tell you whether pieces will actually fit securely, especially on things like these angular corner sections, whereas the beauty of building it in reality is that it actually shows you the weak points, so you can adapt things a little bit to make it sort of work properly. Now, one of my favourite Ladybird books from the 1950s was this one called Shopping with Mother, and it's basically an immaculately dressed lady taking her beautifully dressed children out to the local shops and inside the book it shows the family going into all these different kinds of shops, like the baker's, the fish shop, the toy shop and so forth, and it kind of made me feel quite nostalgic about the old-fashioned towns we used to live in. So I was thinking what I want to achieve in Lego is that kind of nostalgic old-fashioned look to the English high streets from the 1950s and 60s, which I think I've achieved quite well in Brickstead. If you have a look at these buildings here, lots of nice textures, such as the windows and all the nice little curved architectural bits and bobs, greeblies if you like, on the side of these buildings. Now, in order to make space for the new library building that I've got planned for Brickstead, I've made the reluctant decision that I'm going to have to sacrifice this corner building here. Now, this building was designed as a gentleman's outfitter's shop, but it's got some of the pieces, such as these round columns for example, that I need for the new building, and more to the point, it's taking up the only available space for the new building. Hopefully I might be able to recycle some of these windows, because I actually bought a lot of these pieces specially for this building, including a lot of these 1970s sort of French window type pieces. So it's a bit of a shame if we have to break up the building totally, but I'm hoping that we can recycle some of those things in other buildings. In particular, it was quite complicated building this sort of corner piece where the main entrance to the old building was, so it's rather a shame that I've got to actually break that up now. As I've said many times before, Lego is all about the textures of the building, so notice the way that the windows and the other details of the buildings are kind of slightly inset or slightly protruding to give a nice sort of interesting texture to the outside of the buildings. And that goes to the vehicles as well. We've got some lovely kind of nostalgic 1950s and 60s type motor vehicles. These two sports cars, the blue and the red one, actually go back to the 1940s. I think vehicles from back in the day, you know, the 40s and 50s, had very nice style to them, so I'm trying to kind of imitate that interesting textural style of the vehicles of those times. So that's all from me, folks. I'll say live long and prosper. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.